Hello and welcome back, beautiful soul, to yet another episode of Permission to Follow Your Inner GPS, your inner guided purpose soul path. I am your host, Angel Lady Terry Marie, a highly sensitive empath or sensitive who loves helping others to raise their vibration and to share their own journey and their own story. With that said, we have a beautiful guest with us again today. Her name is Kim Carpenter, and she is the founder of World Changing Women, helping women successfully grow businesses that make the world a better place. Her career began in 1996, leading accounts in New York City's top advertising and digital marketing agencies, where her client roster included the United Nations, MasterCard, Blue Shield Blue Cross, Nike, Pepsi, and Office Max. Kim has mentored hundreds of entrepreneurial women in how to create standout marketing strategies that they can exponentially grow their reach, revenue, and impact. Please help me welcome this beautiful lady and beautiful soul. Hello, gorgeous, and welcome.
Thank you so much. So great to be here.
Yes, and so please tell us a little bit about who you are, in addition to that amazing, it's like, wow, Nike, Pepsi, Blue Shield, Office Max. I miss them. They kind of people. I miss Office Max. But how did you get from there to where you are?
Yes. I'm so excited to be talking to you because I followed my inner GPS and it was not an easy choice. It's not an easy path, right? When life shows up and you're not on the right path. It starts in whispers, right? So I was in corporate, I was working in New York City. I had a fancy office looking at the Empire State Building, and I'd risen very quickly, in my early 30s to a senior management position. And by all accounts and everyone looking at me, you would say, she's made it, right? Like, she's on track. She's on, I was being groomed for higher and higher level positions. And inside I was dying. It was not my path. And I was living kind of a double life. I was studying with spiritual teachers, learning about meditation and chakras and energy psychology and energy therapy in the evenings and on the weekends. And then I would come to work and dress up in a suit and be this like uber corporate chick. And as life would have it, I got the whispers about, okay, Kim, it's time to do something different. And I didn't listen. And then I got the 2x4, right? Mm-hmm. And my back went out for no reason. I had herniated L4, L5 disc. I was in so much pain for 9 months. I had a tremendous pain. I couldn't sleep more than 4 hours a night. I would wake up in the middle of the night in so much pain. I had to get up and move. And so I was sleep deprived. And my spiritual teachers, of course, kept saying, you're out of alignment, my dear. Your back is literally out of alignment. You are out of alignment. And so I made a big decision to quit my life. I quit everything. I sold everything. And I said, I'm going to take a year sabbatical. So I went to India, lived in an ashram for 5 months. I traveled around to Israel, Egypt, Cyprus, Germany, Italy. I kind of had an eat, pray, love adventure. Right?
I was thinking about that.
Yeah, that book was written and my mom called me up and she's like, this lady stole your life story. Like, and it's a bestseller. You should write a book. So, I was in India 2 weeks and I woke up and I had no pain.
Talk about confirmation. Wow.
Yeah, big wow. And I remember going, I don't have pain. I'm not in pain. Like, I didn't know what that was like. So any of you listening who are in chronic pain, I really feel you. I get it. Like, you kind of become the pain and it's crazy. And so making that break, I didn't have the stress levels, I didn't have the cortisol, my muscles could relax, and I got back into alignment. So after that year, I came back to the States and had to make a decision, like, who am I now? And I followed my inner GPS. What I love doing is just calling people that I know and telling them what's up with my life and seeing what reflections I get back. So I called this guy, David, who was one of my mentors in college, and told him, I want to find a place to live, a town that kind of feels like an ashram, has a spiritual essence to it. I want to be in nature, and I want to be known. I want to have community. I don't want to be in New York City where I'm totally anonymous, And so he said, well, I'm living in this town called Nelson, British Columbia, in the middle of Canada, on a lake. It's beautiful. And there's a Chinese medicine school here, an art school. He's like, I think you should maybe move here. And I was like, are you kidding me? But I said, okay, I'll come and visit. And while I was there for a 4-day visit, this woman was running a digital marketing agency in town, renting my friend's house, and she gave her notice. And he said, maybe you can just have Tabitha's life. Like, come talk to the head of this digital marketing agency, come look at the house, see what you think. So it was like, when you say yes to your inner GPS, life shows up to meet you. And so I said yes to that, and I helped grow this agency. We quadrupled the size of it in 2 years. I got a work permit. It was super easy. It was like all of these things were easy that should have been hard. And at the same time, I told this agency, look, I also know that I'm supposed to be working with people as a coach, a mentor, something on, in a deeper way. But I want to help you. I want to live here. I want to help you build this company, but I'm going to do this stuff on the side. And they said, fine. And so,
the reason that it worked so well is because you knew that was a bridge to help you get to where you wanted to be. And I don't mean just the physical part. It was a way to help get you there and established while you were trying to figure out the other pieces. Yeah. And you helped this company in the meantime, and you got to know others. I mean, it's like boom, boom, boom. It's like, okay, job, house, got it.
Yeah, it's like, here's a life. Would you like it? Here's what's behind curtain number 1. Would you like it? And I have no doubt that there would have been a curtain number 2 or whatever. And you're so right? Like, it wasn't, oh, here's the final answer. Here's the final manifestation of who you're going to be. No, it was a thread. It was the bridge. It was the next step, and following that next step. So, and my life is a series of that, as all of ours are. But sometimes when we don't say yes and we don't follow, things are going to happen that aren't so pleasant. And I'm not saying the journey wasn't hard. Moving from New York City to a town of 10,000 people in the mountains in British Columbia was a culture change. It really took something for me to allow myself to be there, be in nature, and be in the quietness of all of that. But it was really beautiful. And so from there, I was there for 6 years, and then I moved to California and moved to Texas. But that was really the journey, that whole transition out of corporate, going to India, really sinking deeply into, who am I and what is my life about? What's my purpose? And starting to follow the threads of that is what created the next step of coaching people, and then finding that I actually really love marketing and business, and I love personal development and transformation. And so putting those two things together, because when you have a business, man, it is a personal, spiritual, transformational journey, right?
Yes, and I've heard, and I can attest to it, there's no greater personal transformational journey than working for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Some people say having kids, which I don't have, so I can't attest to that one, but they're like, business, having children, being married, those things. So I actually, this is the path that led me to creating World Changing Women. And World Changing Women, I've actually had that brand name for 7 years. And you know about 7-year cycles, right?
Yeah.
And so I had the brand name and I tried doing different things with it. Like, oh, maybe it's going to be World Changing Women Journeys, and we're going to go to different countries and, do business training and things like that. But I wasn't ready to fully own World Changing Women. Like, I had the URL, I had a Facebook group, I had all this stuff. But for whatever reason, I was still emerging. And so it was last year that I was like, okay, now's the time. It's the time of the woman. Look at all that's happening in the world. And it's going to take me saying yes to that really big, kind of scary thing. Like, it's pretty ballsy to say, I'm going to change the world.
It is. And here's something that I have found out about angels and spirit, whoever someone is working with. From the spirit side of things, as long as you're saying yes, they will be patient to a point before you take that next big leap, right? Because you had that brand name, you had the URL for many years, and they have a similar experience, and yet it's kind of like it gets birthed, and then we get to grow into it, and as long as we're moving towards that, with certain other things that fall into place so that we can be confident enough, not, it's still scary in some ways, because it's like, okay, now I'm going to put it out there, and what if, right? But you took that next set of steps and said, okay, it's time, and took a lot of deep breaths, I'm sure.
Yes, I did. And it's been miraculous. It's been the most amazing year. It's been a breakthrough year financially for me. It's been the easiest things that I've ever launched, easiest enrollment processes. I decided I'm just going to create a community, a membership community of World Changing Women, women who really want to co-create and collaborate and join together to help support each other in building businesses that make a big difference. And so I just started calling people on the phone that I felt drawn to call, like, you're supposed to be part of this group. And, I think 98% of the people that I called said yes right away. And I'm like, I don't even really know what this group is. We're going to co-create it, right? This is new paradigm. Yes. And so, and I think that's what's needed, and that's what people are longing for. So many of the people in the community are saying, I don't need to learn more stuff. I don't need to take more 3-month classes on something, right? I just need a group of people and then bounce ideas off of those people. So we're doing masterminding together, and we're really, no kidding, like supporting each other's work and being a stand for making a big difference. And so that's just been amazing. And I created the group that I wanted, for myself and for others. And so, so it's been amazing. And I had my first 3-day live event in November, and that was a huge success. And so it's just all systems go from here. But I think about, following my inner GPS and what might have happened if I had stayed in corporate, or, it's just like, wow, it's inconceivable.
So what was what one challenge are you willing to share with our viewers and our listeners, that just to let them know, so that, just a second, I'm getting mixed messages over here on this side on what to ask you.
Okay.
Share with us, because it sounds all rosy and it was super easy and la la la, and it's not about pretending it was hard. And when people see you now, they say, oh my gosh, she's got it all together and I couldn't do that. Well, there are parts and pieces along the way, and what everyone sees now is the result of everything you did or didn't do, or some of the challenges. Would you share just one challenge and how you worked through that to help you get to here?
Of course, of course. And I share challenges all the time. I think that it's so important. I
Mm-hmm.
actually have a call in my membership program that's called Behind the Curtain. And once a month, I talk about like, okay, here's the crappy thing that happened. And, you know, what I did about it, or I actually need you all to help me like figure out what to do about it. So, you know, there's a lot of risk taking in business. And many times it didn't work out how I thought it would. So, you know, I can think of a big challenge that I had when I was in Canada and really looking at, okay, I'm doing this day job, but then I'm building my passion work on the side. And I joined a $20,000 mastermind program with someone in California, and I was flying back and forth to California, and you know, and it was great, and I learned a lot, and I got so much from that community, and I was following the steps, because so many people say just follow my 7-step formula or whatever. So I was following those steps, and I wasn't listening to my inner guidance that was saying, this isn't quite you. You need to customize this to you. But I didn't know how to do that yet. And so, you know, I did a launch of a marketing program, which is my core expertise, which I had been doing for like 17 years up to that point, right? I thought marketing messaging, this will be so easy to sell. I know this like the back of my hand. I can do this in my sleep. I can teach this in my sleep. I launched this program and one person signed up. And it was just devastating because I had spent 4 months creating the materials, the launch plan, the promo materials, the Facebook ads, right? And I put so much money into that it was like, this thing has to pay off. And I'm going to do what's safe, right? So surely it will pay off. And one person signed up. And it was the promise from the mentor was kind of like, oh, you can make, you know, at least 5 figures, if not 6 figures on a launch. And it was like, okay, I made $200. What am I going to do now? Like, this is not okay. And honestly, I was under the covers for a couple of days. I was devastated. I was crying to my friends.
You know, a launch is something that has so much investment of all the parts and the pieces. And even when it goes well, there's still a little bit of a dip because all of a sudden it's like, whoa, okay, you put all of this into it and now you're done with it. And it's whether you're under the covers or not, there is a short turnaround or reconnection, recharge time to then move on to the next piece, whatever that is.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And, so that's really one really vulnerable thing. It was like this, you know, this didn't work. And there were other experiments. So from there, I was like, okay, I'm not going to put all my eggs in this one basket. I'm going to make sure that I have my private clients lined up. I've got consulting gigs, and then I'm doing my launches. But as I'm learning how to launch, I need to make sure I'm financially stable.
Yes.
And, you know, so that was a big lesson there. And then I diversified my revenue stream so I could do that. Right. And it's worked out great. And I still choose to do I work with some companies, right? And I help them with executive coaching and communications training and things like that. So I always have some higher end consulting going on so that I can keep my membership prices relatively low. And also so I can give back and scholarship in some women who really have social impact businesses, but maybe they're from, you know, a developing country, or they're a philanthropy, they're a nonprofit, right? And now I have the hindsight to say, this is how I want to create this. But in the beginning, I didn't know. So I was throwing spaghetti at the wall, you know?
It's easy enough in some ways to do that because we're all taught this is mainstream, this is how it has to be done, and if you don't do it this way, it's never going to work. Well, when you're on your spiritual path and you're bringing the spiritual pieces or piece in, it is about customizing it because we do get to work within mainstream, right? Because that's the structure that there is. So how do you do that and still honor what you're being guided to do? And you've figured that out for yourself.
Well, I have a lot of support, and I think that's so key. You know, I have a spiritual mentor. I have, a business coach. I have a virtual assistant. I have marketing support, right? It's like, I know for myself, and I mean, I would say I think everybody needs this, but maybe some people don't. But for myself, I know that I need support to remember, like to have people around me who remind me and reflect back to me who I really am, because I will forget, even if I have my daily practices, even, right? It's like when the stuff hits the fan, it's like, oh, I need some support here. And I think that's hard, challenging sometimes for people to ask and receive that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why I think it's so great to work with someone like you, right? Or it's just like, it's built in. I got that support. That's covered, right? I can move on.
Well, we're thank you for that, because we're all taught, or most of us are taught, that we need to manage and control what we do, how we do it, what we say, what we think, and how we feel. And to need help, oh, well, then you must not be doing something right, or you're a failure. And when we're in the middle of something like the fan, stuff hitting the fan, it's not always that easy to remember some of the tools that we have that will help us, and the same tools don't always help, because we need to have like a toolbox.
Right.
And part of that is knowing when to reach out. Is like, okay, I know I need help here.
Exactly.
So what is one of the ways, or your favorite ways, to work with your clients? You have a variety, so just, what's one of your favorites?
Oh, I think I'm creating something new that's quickly becoming a favorite, which I'm calling them Impact Labs. So they're 3 days live, and we work on something and you get it done in 3 days, and you walk away and it's done. And I did that because I was tired of teaching courses where, statistically it's like 15% actually of people actually complete a course or, implement everything that they've learned in the course. And it was like, that's not working. So I want to bring in my consulting background, my agency background, and work with people in a setting where it's no more than 10 people. And we do something and it's done. So weekend after next, I'm doing something called the Standout Branding Lab. And for 3 days, we're going to work on people's brand essence, their core message. So like the one-liner that describes them, what's unique about them, and bringing in their soul of their brand and defining that, right? So they can articulate what they do clearly so people get it. And we'll using archetypal stories that are stories that resonate with every human being to look at how do you describe what your brand is and what's special about it through storytelling. So you're going to walk away with a brand playbook, and it's just done. And then you'll have that every time you need to write copy or write a web page or write a sales page or whatever, you have that done. So I'm doing another one on marketing messaging, another one on video marketing, where we're going to create 3 videos, and those will be done for your sales page, your home page, and things like that. So that's what I'm really excited about right now, is getting stuff done for people.
And it's so important, because once we get the core pieces done, and there is someone like you to help with that, it's like, okay, I know I need this, I understand it, but I don't get it.
Yeah.
The how to get it. And you're telling them
why. Yeah, you can read all the books you want. Like I have a big stack of books. I have a big stack of branding books here next to my desk because I'm referring back to them. And it's like, oh yeah, I mean, you can read books, you can watch videos, you can talk about it, but it's a whole different thing to go into an experiential 3-day workshop where you're just going to live and breathe that for a few days and come out on the other side of it with something that's completed. Because I think we can kind of dip into stuff, right? Like, oh, I need to learn about Facebook ads, or like we have the shiny object syndrome, and then we never actually do it.
Because we have so many pieces that we don't know what to focus on first. And even if we did, it's like, oh, I have this, and this, and this, and how do you not tie them, but how do you link them all together so that they make a cohesive message that ideal clients actually understand? So, oh, I need her or I need him because they get me, la, la, la.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing. And without the corporate background in all of that marketing and all of those pieces, see, that's what some people don't really understand. Is like, wow, I've been on the wrong path for like ever. And the truth is, what you have been doing helps you to get where you need to be or want to be. It's about combining it differently and bringing in the spiritual piece and mentoring others like you're doing.
Yes. What a great observation. Yes. Had I not done those years in corporate, had all of those varied experiences, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now, and it definitely wouldn't be as effective and powerful. And yeah, because I've worked with so many small business owners and these big, huge corporations that have like teams of people working on one campaign, and I can essentialize it down. Like, what are the essential elements of this that a small business person really needs? That's, when they don't have $1 million budget for something. And that's a fun challenge for me to work with.
So see, y'all, you don't need to have thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands to get started. Do what you can. Find the right mentor in the right place to help you get started, and then they can help you expand.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah. What else would you like to share with our viewers and listeners, beautiful?
Well, I have something really cool that I developed this year for any of those world-changing women that are listening. I created the World-Changing Women Success Path because of exactly what you're saying. There are all these pieces, and how do I bring them together? What do I do next, and what do I focus on next? So the Success Path has 7 different areas that are varied, from feminine leadership and emotional resilience, all the way into like positioning yourself as an authority and thinking strategically. So both the masculine and the feminine side. And so it's just a great way, it's a great tool to assess where you're at and where you're further along down the path and where the gaps are. Maybe those are the things that you want to put some energy towards this year. So you can find that at revealmysuccesspath.com. revealmysuccesspath.com, and it's free. It's my gift to you. You can just log in and take that, and then I'd love to hear from you and hear how that was and where you're at in your process and how I might be able to support you.
And can they find you on social media anywhere by chance?
Of course, everywhere. So our website is at worldchangingwomen.com, and our Facebook page is the same name. So Facebook.com/worldchangingwomen. My name is Kim Carpenter. You can find me there. We are also on YouTube and Instagram and Twitter and all of the places. Yeah.
Just share your free gift URL one more time, please.
Yeah, it's revealmysuccesspath.com.
Revealmysuccesspath.com. All right, y'all. Are you getting the message? This beautiful lady is willing to share that and so much more with you. Please stop by and let her know, contact her, find her on social media, go to her website. That's revealmysuccesspath.com. or worldchangingwomen.com. Thank you so much, beautiful, for being with us. It has been a pleasure, and I hope that you'll come back again sometime.
Of course I will. Thank you so much for having me. It was lovely to be in your space and be blessed by all that you give.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Please do rate, review, and subscribe. You just never know when the next juicy featured guest like this beautiful Kim Carpenter is going to come along and give you just that next little piece to help you get out of your own way and follow your own inner GPS. And stop by angeldreamteam.com and get your Become a Mover and Shaker of your reality. It is also a free gift. Until next time, beautiful soul, get the BS out of the way, your blind spot, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.